This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
U.S. energy firms this week added oil and natural gas rigs for the first time in 7 weeks, energy services firm Baker Hughes said in its closely followed report on Friday. The oil and gas rig count, an early indicator of future output, rose by 4 to 585 in the week to July 5. Despite this week's rig increase, Baker Hughes said the total count was still down 95 rigs, or 14%, below this time last year. Baker Hughes said oil rigs were unchanged at 479 this week, holding at its lowest since December 2021, while gas rigs rose by 4 to 101.
The largest ports in Texas closed operations and vessel traffic on Sunday as Hurricane Beryl intensified as it approached the Texas coast near Houston. Beryl, which left a trail of destruction this week in the Caribbean, killing at least 11 people, was now a Category 1 hurricane and may strengthen into a Category 2 by landfall on Monday, the U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, said. The ports of Corpus Christi, Houston, Galveston, Freeport and Texas City said they closed after condition, Zulu, was set by Coast Guard captains on Sunday. All vessel movement and cargo operations are restricted as gale force winds are expected within 12 hours.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Europe's top coal-fired electricity producer cleaned up its Power Generation Act during the first half of 2024, lifting clean electricity generation by more than 25% from the first half of 2024 and cutting fossil fuel-fired output by 9%. Clean Power also registered its highest-ever share of Turkey's generation mix during the January to June period, supplying 53% of all electricity compared to 44% for the same months in 2023, data from energy think tank Ember shows. Turkey's overall electricity output also climbed, rising by nearly 7% from a year ago to its highest in at least 6 years, ensuring that total electricity supplies for households and businesses has expanded despite cuts to fossil fuel use.
Chinese authorities are considering ordering large-scale investigations of energy storage plants for fire risks, in a sign of tighter standards for China's booming battery energy storage industry, the 21st Century Business Herald reported on Monday. Prompted by recent disasters at energy storage facilities, authorities have already carried out safety inspections at some energy storage manufacturers, developers and operators, the report said. A June 26 fire at a lithium battery factory in Seoul, sparked by battery explosions, killed 23 people, most of them Chinese migrant workers, making it one of the deadliest industrial accidents in recent years. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Copper prices pulled back on Monday, as lackluster physical consumption and high inventories in top consumer China overshadowed prospects of U.S. interest rate cuts this year. 3-month copper on the London Metal Exchange was down 0.5% to $9,899 per metric ton by 0732 GMT. The most traded August copper contract on the Shanghai Futures Exchange shed 0.3% to 79,930 yuan, $10,995.25 a ton. LME copper had hit a 3-week high on Friday, and logged its first weekly increase in 7.
Gold prices slipped on Monday, as investors booked profits after bullion hit a more than 1-month high in the previous session on rising bets of U.S. interest rate cuts in September. Spot gold fell 0.6% at $2,377.75 per ounce as of 0704 GMT, after rising to its highest level since May 22 on Friday. U.S. gold futures eased 0.5% to $2,385.50. Data on Friday showed that the unemployment rate hit a 2-1/2-year high of 4.1%, pointing to a softer U.S. labor market.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
The United Nations World Food Price Index held steady in June, data showed on Friday, with increases in vegetable oil, sugar and dairy products offset by a fall in the price of cereals. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization's price index, which tracks the most globally traded food commodities, averaged 120.6 points in June, unchanged from May. The May figure was revised from an initial reading of 120.4. The FAO index hit a three-year low in February as food prices receded from a record peak set in March 2022 following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.